말해줘. 뭔지 몰라 도대체 어떻게 그럴 수가 있나 이 세상에는 나보다 더 잘난 남자가 있다는.
Hey guys, welcome back to Check the Vending Machines, a weekly pop culture podcast on the internet where two best friends get together and talk about pop culture stuff, movies, anime, comic books, all that jazz. It's an early Sunday morning. I'm Jason, that's Zach. What's going on, man?
Man, I'm just trying to get, up and awake. It's early Sunday. I'm still trying to get used to this grind a little bit. Look, Jason, so I finally gotten to the point that I didn't think I knew I was going to get to, but I got there a lot faster than I did, which is I'm in uncharted territory in One Piece.
Okay.
Because I realized when I got to the point where I'm at, I'm like, oh yeah, I've never made it past Enies Lobby. I think the last time I tried to watch One Piece was I watched up to Enies Lobby and a little bit past it, like with the stuff with his grandpa and stuff like that, and that's as far as I got. So now I'm in the shit with Brooke. I didn't realize I guess in the anime there might be like something after it, but Brooke is like the next thing, and I'm like, hell yeah, because I always thought his design was super cool. Like fucking skeleton with an afro, and he's also like a swordsman. But the bad guy is fucking strange.
Is it Moria?
Yeah, the Gecko Moria guy.
Yeah.
Fucking weird shit. And I also I don't know if it's in every single arc, and I don't know if this becomes more prominent later, but the almost movie genre that each arc kind of takes on. Alabasta was definitely an Indiana Jones type of thing, kind of with all the deserts and the ruins and whatnot. And then Enies Lobby is just a straight up action movie rescue type of thing. And then you get to Thriller Bark, and it's all this horror movie trope shit with all the zombies and all that shit like that. So I'm enjoying that a lot.
Well, it's very clear that because, like I said, I don't know what podcast it was, but it goes back to the point that while One Piece is clearly a shonen manga, right? And shonen being the directed towards young boys generally, but it's not an action. It's not a battle manga per se.
Really.
It has battle manga elements towards the middle and eventually, but it's an excuse for Oda to every island can be a whole different theme.
Yeah.
You could, because Water 7, it's like a spy theme. All the spy agents, CP7, all that kind of stuff. Or CP7.
CP9.
Right? CP9. Then you get the Thriller Bark. It's okay, this is clearly all Romero inspired zombies with this ghosts and ghouls and all that kind of stuff. And you get sci-fi islands and all this different stuff. So I don't know if he has ever said. I don't read enough interviews with him to know for sure that he does that. But there's different.
It seems like there's definitely specific themes that he likes to try to hit on with each island. Yeah, I mean, I think less so with the earlier stuff. The earlier stuff is it's just mini adventures. There's not strong themes. I think it's really Alabasta is when you really start to see that there's strong themes that he tries to hint onto. Because before that, it was it's Arlong, that's just a regular island, and then all the East Blue stuff is just they're just regular islands, and then you get to the Grand,
just pirate.
Yeah, and then you get to the Grand Line, and then he is actually able to get creative and stretch what can actually be done on these different islands, especially with the great world building stuff that he has too, with setting up how the Grand Line actually works and how each island has different climate based on how the currents work because of the way that the magnetism works on each of these planets too, and how they all probably have their own specific meteorological patterns that they fall into just because of exactly how the air currents work and how their island is set up in the Grand Line and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. No, it's good, but it's almost like for a pirate manga, there's very
Mhm.
little pirate things that go on.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of like,
Ship to ship battles,
yeah,
not many.
ship to ship is like, I mean, I feel like it probably is more, especially with the Merry-Go, there wasn't that much, but like, especially like, even in the beginnings of Thriller Bark, like you see just how better of a ship the Thousand Sunny is than like
Mhm.
Merry-Go, just like with what Frankie's able to do to it. So, I mean, maybe that might be a thing later on, but yeah, I
No,
mean,
I'm telling you, it's not. I'm telling.
there's no like
I mean,
naval combat
there's
going on.
definitely more like things that happen on the ship, but it's never like, hey, we're
It's never full blown
alongside.
naval combat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not like it's not Pirates of the Caribbean. You know, what I mean, where it's
right.
like there's a 15 ship battle, and maybe there is, but because most of the arcs take place on we're on the ship, shit happens on the ship to get us to the next location,
Right.
and then once we get there, we get off the ship and we have to go run around the island or whatever we're at, and that's
Hmm.
like kind of the thing. I always kind of was like, okay, we're a pirate manga, maybe let's like have like I don't know, ship to ship battles or something,
Yeah.
but I
I
can't
mean, the
remember in my
most
mind.
piratey thing about it is just Nami being obsessed with treasure, and like she's the most piratey thinking of them all, where she's just greedy like a pirate.
Yeah, even that kind of wanes.
Does it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it really becomes like I honestly forget that they're pirates until they tell you. Like a lot of times when I'm like, okay, they're fighting for like they're the good guys, and there's like they're not really trying to just get treasure all the time. Like they're trying to like help
Yeah, I
people and
mean, I think
shit.
that's the weirdest part about it too. Is yeah, they're like pirates, but they're not even bad guys. They're just like they don't follow the regular world government rules.
Yeah,
That's the only thing that really like makes them like pirates necessarily. Otherwise, they'd just be straight up good guys.
yeah. And also because never mind, I'm not gonna say anything.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, hey man, that's awesome.
Yeah,
But we're here
we are.
today to
Talk about a
talk
favorite of
about.
yours.
Yeah, absolutely, man. This is one of the movies that I grew up watching. I watch multiple times a year, the entire series.
Mm-hmm.
Top 10, top 5 for sure. And
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those movies that to me, like, the first one in particular, which is what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I'll find out, obviously. To me, it's a 10 out of 10 movie. It's a 5 out of 5 movie. To me, every time I watch it, it's like it's a popcorn movie, but also it's a good. The acting's so great, the chemistry is so great,
Mm-hmm.
and it's 1987. Richard Donner of Superman
Yeah.
fame, written by Shane Black of Predator and Creepy One-Liners fame at the time, and that is Lethal Weapon with Danny Glover and Mel Gibson.
Yes.
Now you have no history with this movie, right?
I have no history. This is actually my first time like actually sitting down and watching it. Like I know of Lethal Weapon. Like I know. I think it's the third one. I know the shot where he gets stuck in a toilet. I know that one.
Two.
That's two.
Yeah,
I know
two.
that, and I know his line of "I'm too old for this shit," which is a great line. But I really don't know anything else about Lethal Weapon other than that. Like I didn't know, and I think you told me around Christmas time that he's like, "Oh yeah, they're great Christmas movies." And I was like, "Okay," and then it's like, "Yo, no, yeah, it's a decent. It's even. I would say it's a better Christmas movie than Die Hard is.
Well, and this one, if we're going by
It
like
leans into the Christmas stuff more than Die Hard does.
Christmas adjacent,
Yeah,
yeah, then I think I like Lethal Weapon more as a Christmas movie than Die Hard.
I think
But
it. I think it at least leans into it more than Die Hard does. Like, I mean, the first time you see Mel, well, not the first time, but like the first time you see Mel Gibson on the job, he's like busting down drug dealers who are also Christmas tree sellers, and
yeah,
like the whole thing is like based around the fact that like the big drug shipment or whatever takes place on Christmas or New
well,
Year's or
see,
something like that.
people always say Die Hard One is the best Christmas movie, like in their little joking manner.
Yeah.
But I honestly would think that Die Hard Two is a better Christmas movie because of where it takes place
Hmm.
and the elements. Have you seen Die Hard Two?
That's the one with the plane, right? I feel
Yeah,
it's been a
that
long time since I've seen
yeah,
that.
that's where it's at the airport, and it's like it's literally snowing everywhere. It's in the
Hmm.
airport, so it's like to me, even that movie alone kind of has more Christmas elements than just a
Hmm.
Christmas party.
Hmm.
But I mean, the first opening scene of Lethal Weapon's like Christmas music playing,
Yeah.
and then the
Well, yeah,
girl
it's like the
falling out the
yeah, you turn
building.
the movie on and it immediately starts blasting Jingle Bell Rock at you.
Yeah, but how I don't know. How did you miss this movie growing up?
I don't know.
But
I really don't
but you got
know. I
Die
just
Hard
don't
though.
think I guess my main thing is probably that like especially when I was younger, like a lot of the action movies and stuff that I watched was like stuff that my dad watched. Like I would watch those kind of movies with my dad, and I guess he just wasn't a huge fan of Lethal Weapon. And I'll probably go talk to him and be like, he'll probably be like, "Yeah, I love Lethal Weapon." I'll be like,
Yeah.
"Well, why did you never fucking watch it with me?"
It's funny because
But
I definitely caught, and maybe it's because I caught this before I caught Die Hard,
mhm.
but it's because I love Mel Gibson,
Mm,
and it was more so because my dad loves Braveheart. My
mhm.
dad fucking loves Braveheart. I don't know what about it. He's not from that fucking
He's not
country.
Scottish.
Yeah, I mean maybe in the white DNA or somewhere, but like he just likes the era. He likes whatever. I love Mad Max. So
Yeah.
I just was going through the catalog as like a 9-year old or whatever,
Mhm.
and you just walk through the VHS section or whatever action section, and like the cover sticks out, and I was like, oh, should I watch this movie? My dad's like, that's a great movie. So I'm like, oh fuck yeah, okay, so we're gonna watch that. So from then on, it's just like that, and then you start finding things in that mainstream action kind
Mhm.
of sphere. And it's always like to me, they're very different movies, but Die Hard and Lethal Weapon are the two like the '80s classic action flicks with cops. They're like at the top, and then you
Mhm.
can like disseminate down in terms of the rungs of different tiers of levels of quality,
Yeah.
especially of budget. But
Mhm.
Lethal Weapon one to me stands atop the mountain, man. It's not only a great cop movie, a
Mhm.
great '80s movie, but it is the best. I'm talking about it kicks 48 hours in the dick. It is the best buddy cop movie of all time. It's
Yeah, I
insane.
think I would agree with that. I really like the chemistry between Glover and Gibson a lot. I think they really play off each other really, really well. And I think one of the things that like surprised me about the movie, especially like not knowing anything about it, was like Mel Gibson's character in general. Like having a cop that's
Oh
like
yeah.
basically suicidal is like so
It's weird
fucking
to me
weird.
because like I'm so used to people knowing that part about the movie that the fact that you
Yeah,
don't
like I
know
had no
that.
idea. Like I come to it, I'm like, oh, he's like gonna shoot himself. Okay. Oh, he
Yeah,
wants to
he's a
like jump off
psychopath.
a building and die. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, he's not in the right mind.
Yeah.
And as you get along in the series, and you can see it in the first movie, obviously, but like his relationship with Raj,
Hmm.
like brings him back like
Hmm.
to humanity. You
Yeah.
can see it in the first movie, like him going to dinner,
Hmm.
like all this stuff. You can see him going from being like the psychopath. He's always gonna be that because of his background in the military.
Yeah.
Because they're both military guys. They established that when they're walking
Yeah, I
through
like that
the
too. That
parking
yeah, they
garage.
both like. Well, it's weird that like you have that too. That like they were both served in Vietnam, obviously in like different capacities. Like, uh, oh shit, what's his name? What's Mel
Murtaugh.
Gibson?
Oh,
Murtaugh.
you mean Riggs? Riggs.
Riggs. Riggs was like Special Forces, and then Murtaugh was just like I don't know if they actually.
He's a regular guy.
Yeah, I don't know if they actually said like what he actually did, but yeah, he just like served in Vietnam. But like the way they interact too, where it's like they both serve, but like it feels like Murtaugh's almost like I mean, the first time they kind of interact, he's like, the war's over and all this kind of shit, right? Like he's like, I don't know. It feels like a thing that like somebody who also went through Vietnam would like not say to another Vietnam guy, but
Well, to me,
um,
I always took it as that because it's just basing on age,
hmm
right? To me, it seems like okay, if Murtaugh's about to retire,
hmm
he might have been a cop first
hmm
and went into the guy and drafted with already a cop mentality. I don't know if this has been
hmm
stated somewhere else before because of the ages. Because even Danny Glover's playing an older character, like he's
yeah,
not really that old in real life at the time. I mean, he's an older guy,
yeah,
but he's not retirement age
yeah,
for a cop age yet. So I'm thinking like maybe he was a cop already before he got drafted, or he was prior service at 18, became a cop, then got drafted again.
hmm
And then whereas Riggs was like probably 18 gung ho went right from wherever he's from right to special forces. So
Yeah.
the
It's like, yeah, he
mentality is way
graduated high school
different.
and went directly into special forces in the military.
Yeah,
But
the mentality will be completely different from that perspective. But they set up. I mean, just talk about. I can talk about everything, but I want particular because this movie hinges on character.
hmm
Excuse me, it hinges on chemistry. You know, and for two guys, if you put on paper, I wouldn't expect to have like
good chemistry at all.
insane
Yeah.
chemistry. Like it's completely wrong. Like it's massive, and not only that, like even the passing characters of Murtaugh's family,
hmm
like they're all good. Like his wife is good, his kids are good. The fucking neighbor kid is like they're all like they
Yeah.
all fit in so well, and that goes to the fact that Danny Glover is so great at playing the middle-aged cop family man. Like that's so it's so believable. Like the opening scene of him in the bathtub,
It's a great
it's
scene.
fucking believable. It's so believable.
Well, it's weird. It's believable until she's like, "Oh, you got gray in your beard." And I'm like looking at his beard, and I was like, "I don't see any gray."
But it
Which
could
I
be
guess
because
goes to like what you're saying, where like Danny Glover's trying to play like an older person than he actually is, but
well, see, even with that, I think that's Shane Black writing a joke. Like it's his
possibly.
birthday, his wife being like, "Oh, it's your birthday. I'm young. I'm younger than you."
hmm
They mention that later on. He's like, "Oh, you're gray in your beard," and then she's just ribbing him.
Yeah.
Like you're an old guy now. I'm gonna rib you,
Yeah.
and even though your beard's not gray, I'm gonna tell you it is. And he's like, "Fuck you."
So I'm gonna shave it all off.
Yeah, but I love the the introduction of both characters shows you the different perspectives of the world they're in.
Yeah.
You have the guy who's in a bathtub who just got shot, recovering from being shot. Family guy has a house, that's his crazy life. And then cut to the Christmas tree selling drug bust
hmm
where Riggs is like fucking going crazy.
Well, the first time you see him, he's like naked in his trailer, and like grabbing beer and pissing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just looks like somebody who's like completely miserable with their life, which is like, yeah, I mean, it's a great setup for his whole character and like where he's at mentally at that point.
And then cut to the garage where they talk about their service pistols
hmm
and looking at at Raj's revolver
hmm
and all this stuff.
But yeah, a
You
lot of
old
carry
timers
six
carry that
shooters.
still, all the kind of stuff. But one of my favorite scenes in all the movies is in this movie, which is where they introduce them to each other in the police station where Raj
Oh,
sees
where he pulls out his
Riggs.
gun and he like, yeah,
He sees Riggs sitting there. He doesn't look like a cop. He's wearing like the jeans and the shirt and the fucking whatever tucked in plaid shirt, whatever he's wearing. He
hmm
sees the pistol just tucked in the back, no holster, just
yeah,
tucked in the back of the jeans, and Raj wants to go crazy, and
yeah,
very clearly, Riggs just fucking nope,
yeah.
takes
He
him
like judo
down.
flips him.
Yeah, and then the lieutenant or the captain's like, "Hey, Murtaugh, meet your new partner." He's
Too
like,
old for this
"Ah,
shit.
shit." I fucking love it, dude.
Uh,
Especially since we know that Mel Gibson is directing Lethal Weapon 5,
hmm
and that like if in 1987 Murtaugh is saying I'm too old for this shit, in
I don't know. I can't imagine what it's gonna
2023
be like in like 2022.
you're beyond retirement. No
Yeah,
cop is gonna be fucking 78 or whatever the fuck how old. Hold on,
he's
let's
gotta be
pull
like
it up.
78, right?
Danny Glover. He's not that old. Let's say he is 75, and we know Gibson's like 60, right?
Yeah, Gibson's 60. He's like
See,
60.
Gibson's 66.
Yeah.
Now, Mel Gibson still looks
He's not even
great.
that much younger than. I mean, he has 10 years, but
And Mel Gibson looks great still. Like I've seen him recently.
he
He
looks
looks
pretty good.
fantastic still. And Danny Glover looks fine. But dude, you have to be at this point if you're going to be 66 and you're a cop. And also remember Danny Glover's playing an older guy, so he has to
Yeah.
be playing like 75. But
hmm
if you're going to be that old and you're a cop still, you have to be the fucking chief of police.
Yeah. You
There's no
got
way you're anything else.
you
You
got to be
know?
having a desk job at that point. There's no
Yeah,
way
you
you're
ain't.
out in the field.
So I don't know. We'll get into that later, but like the introducing the chemistry is so great. And I love that they kind of like meander their way into a plot.
Well, I don't know if they kind of. I mean, I guess they kind of stumble in. I guess they kind of stumble into it, but I mean, it's all based around the fact that
Murtaugh knows the guy.
that Murtaugh knows the guy whose
Yeah.
daughter died. Like that, it's all just kind of based around that fact, and then yeah, it kind of all unravel.
Like
It becomes a much bigger thing.
For the
but-
characters, like for us, we are putting pieces together because they're giving it to us. But
Right.
for Raj and Riggs and for Martin, they're stumbling into like actual detectives are.
Yeah.
They're kind of like sitting there like, okay, well that's weird. I'll go see this. Oh man, I know that guy. Oh shit.
Oh, a
and
house
then
just blew up at me.
yeah, and it's like, oh, I think it's not. I don't think it's anything big. I don't think there's anything going on.
It's thin. It's real thin.
It's thin, and then the house explodes, and the kids are there, and then they,
Yeah.
the dude. So hold on,
That kid scene is hilarious too.
the kid scene, but not even the second part where they identify the tattoo.
Mhm.
That scene, I end up rewatching it every time I watch the movie,
Mhm.
not because the kids are good actors, like the kid actor sucks,
Yeah.
but it's more so the way that this isn't a big budget action movie,
Mhm.
and to me, the face acting of Mel Gibson is so goddamn good.
Mhm.
Like when the kid's pointing at the tattoo on Riggs, that moment of him acting on his face, where he's like, shit, like
Here
this
we
is
go.
this is
I know
a bad
exactly what the hell's
situation.
going on now.
I love that little bit of acting. It's so small.
Mhm.
And then him walking away and Murtaugh being like, what is it? That tattoo exactly? And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, dude, fucking love that shit.
Yeah.
But let's take it back a little bit, kind of reformulate here.
Okay.
What did you expect going into this? Because you since you only have heard like Osmosis, I'm assuming.
Yeah. I mean, I was expecting like a buddy cop movie, but I don't know. I definitely wasn't expecting like the chemistry to be as good as it was, and I didn't expect. I think the one thing that I kind of expected was that I expected a little bit more of like, especially like with the Lethal Weapon stuff, and once they actually talk about why Riggs is called Lethal Weapon, I was like, oh, we're gonna see some like fucking like Tai Chi fucking action shit, and it's like you get like a little bit at the end, and like that's all. So that was kind of like, oh, okay. So, I mean, Lethal Weapon's a good name, so I mean, I get why they went with it. Like that's a solid fucking name for a movie, but I was expecting more Lethal Weapon.
I always took it as a joke. Like everyone who gets near Riggs dies.
Well, that too, yeah.
So like no matter what happens, even if it doesn't kill you with his hands, like you fall into a pool and you drown. Like it doesn't matter what the scenario is. Like you just die if you're near him.
Yeah.
I think that I can't remember what I thought the movie was gonna be because it's been so long and my brain is so. It's been so fucking polluted with these movies that I don't know how to feel.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that, like all buddy stuff does. You get different tropes with the main cast,
Mm-hmm.
whereas in Die Hard, he's great, but you only have one version of that hero,
Right.
like to go off of. Whereas in this movie, you can like almost like pick McClane and put him like in between.
Mm-hmm.
Like Riggs and Murtaugh, kind of like on the scale, the spectrum.
Yeah.
Where like Riggs is like he's gonna do whatever the fuck he want, anything. Even if he doesn't want to do, he's gonna do it because he's crazy. Murtaugh doesn't want to do anything crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and then McClane will do everything crazy because he not because he wants to. He has the need to like as a cop to do this stuff. So he's
Mhm.
kind of like in the middle, and like you have like the two spectrums of like
Yeah.
willingness to do crazy shit. But I love the setup of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I love the tiptoeing into the bigger plot that becomes even gradual. Like it becomes massive. I like that
Yeah.
idea. What was your favorite scene?
Damn, that's tough. I think.
Break his neck. Break his neck.
Yeah, I mean that fight scene at the end between Gary Busey and Gibson is pretty good. Like there's just water splashing everywhere. They're just like tossing each other back.
Also,
and
how
forth.
great is it? Like it's like final fight in front of your house, like
Yeah.
in suburbia, in front of your house, front lawn, all the cops watching. Like,
Well, this is the one thing. Okay, so this is the one thing about that scene that I didn't get. So it's like, okay, I don't get how they beat them.
yeah,
I don't get how they beat him to the house.
I
Like
don't
he
know,
had
bro.
such a head start on them.
Movie
Like, it's not
logic.
even funny.
Yeah, movie logic.
Like,
That's all I
it
know.
doesn't make any sense. I mean, I know it's movie logic. It just doesn't make any sense to
Yeah,
like
action
shoot
movie
him.
logic. But you gotta build a third act, baby.
I mean, it's great because then you get the scene where, sorry, bad guys, only good guys are here, or something like that. I can't remember exactly what the note
Yeah.
says, but um, that scene's great. I actually really like the setup for like the desert scene and whatnot, where you've got like
Yeah.
rigs like going out and like actually doing like a special forces like sniper shit like out in the desert, and you've got Murtaugh going out to like save his daughter, and it's like it's a really good like standoff
Yeah, classic
scene.
desert scene.
Yeah, classic Las Vegas desert scene.
Yeah. I love also at the very end. I'm gonna ask you this: which ending is better?
Hmm.
The Die Hard, Al shoots the one guy, the one German guy at the end,
Oh yeah, yeah, that comes out with the
or
bang.
yeah, or Lethal Weapon, Riggs and Murtaugh double shoot Gary Busey
Double
at the
shoot
very
Gary
end.
Busey when he tries to steal the cop's
Yeah,
gun. Ah,
because they're the same. It's the same exact
it's
scene
the same
basically.
basic ending. I feel like the body bag I like more, just because it's you totally thought he was dead and then he just comes back to life. Because Gary
Yeah,
Busey, like he's still alive, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna definitely try to steal this guy's gun.
yeah.
I think the body bag was more surprising.
I think for me, I love Lethal Weapon. I think it's an infinitely better movie than Die Hard. Not saying Die Hard's a bad movie.
Yeah.
I would pick Die Hard only because we get set up for that whole his whole character in that movie.
That
Him
too,
like
yeah. All
him
the stuff with
shooting a kid,
yeah.
not wanting to pull a gun ever again, and then he knows now he has to do it and
Mm.
fucking blows the guy away. Love that. Not saying that I think Lethal Weapons is bad. I think it's fucking awesome. The double shoot
There's definitely more
thing,
storytelling behind what happens in Die Hard than
yeah.
Lethal Weapons.
But I do love the
Yeah.
double. Just fucking, I love that shit, dude. I
Yeah.
love it. Um, how do you feel about? Obviously, we said the casting is so good, but
Mhm.
how do you feel about Gary Busey as like the sidekick bad guy?
Dude, honestly, it's so strange to see him be like a normal fucking person, like not be like crazy Gary Busey. Like this must have been. I mean, I assume it had to have been like before whatever accident caused him to like go fucking psycho. But it's weird to see him be like calm and collected. But like, yeah, I liked him a lot. I liked him a lot as like the fucking
He gives off that
cold,
like
yeah,
weird,
the cold-blooded mercenary type thing. Like, I
yeah,
mean, his introductory scene where he like fucking lights his arm on fire for his boss is
yeah.
like what the fuck?
Honestly, though, because that's in the club, right?
Yeah.
I kept thinking of Three Ninjas when they're in the club, being like, "Are they gonna get the band to play?" All this
Yeah.
kind of shit, dude.
Dude, I wanted some Ninja Turtle shit. I wanted Vanilla Ice to pop up on
Yeah,
stage.
dude, I love. I don't really like Gary Busey at all.
Mm.
Maybe I like him a lot in Point Break.
Mm.
I think that's probably it. Point Break, and then that's like even this. I think he fits the vibe so well of like the assassin character of the squad, like the
Hmm.
guy who's always second command. You don't fuck with him.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. I like the helicopter sequences and all the like whether it's the
Mm.
when they shoot the guy in the fucking house.
Oh my god.
Love that.
That
Um,
and then the fucking okay, the dangerous fucking shit of them like ramming a helicopter into the car that girl's driving. Like what
yeah,
the fuck?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that there are so many great moments in the movie
Hmm.
that because to me it's not a serious movie, like it's a popcorn flick.
Yeah, it's definitely not like super
It's a
serious.
perfect popcorn flick of that genre
Hmm.
where you can miss a lot. Like they set it up a ton, and I think a lot of people really think about the first half a lot. The first half is mentioned a lot in pop culture. The jumping off the building sequence, which is great.
Hmm.
Like I love that sequence. That whole bit about Riggs going up there and being like, "We're gonna jump, let's go, we're gonna jump," and the guy's like, "I don't want to
We
jump
can do it right
anymore."
now.
And they jump, and then Murtaugh bringing him to the fucking shop,
Mm.
the sequestered shop, being like, "You're actually fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You actually want to
Like you
die."
actually want to fucking kill yourself? Like Jesus.
And you just see again, it goes back to the great face acting of Mel Gibson. He's like, you can see it on his fucking face, not even saying a word. It's like, "Yep, this dude wants to die," and there's no words
I
there.
like that it's like a light switch moment for Murtaugh too, though, because I think it's like After that point, no, that's wrong. It's the pool thing. Never mind. So I was thinking that like, well, I mean, I think that's the moment where he like starts to like soften up to him a little bit more, where he realizes he's like actually crazy, like he's not faking it. Like I feel like he probably, I think the
Yeah.
dynamic would have been different if like Murtaugh was like faking being crazy. Like
Yeah.
I could see him being more.
Because right after that is when they because the
That's when they
pool.
go to the rich person's house,
Yeah,
right?
and then but before that though, isn't that when he calls a psychologist?
Oh yeah, it's like after that. Yeah, yeah.
And
He
that's
calls
when
the
he's like, okay, I
psychologist.
called the shrink. It's like confirmed. He's like,
Yeah,
do you like want a burrito or a hot dog or whatever? And he's like,
yeah,
why does it matter? I'm a dead man. Why does it even matter?
yeah.
If you're gonna feed a dead man, why does it even matter? And that whole bit is great because that thread, even though Murtaugh like in 2 or in 3, he's already like, okay, we're friends, we're family. I know you're fucking psycho. Even then, like it's like just like, please let's not do this. You're fucking let's not crazy. Like I'm not gonna spoil it, but there's the opening sequence of 2, which I think is a fantastic opening to a movie.
Hmm.
Um, you're gonna watch it, and I think you're gonna have a great time with it. The opening
Okay.
sequence, it's just a fun opening to a movie. It's one of those things where they throw you in there,
Hmm.
and even that whole time, it's a classic Riggs Murtaugh bit, and it's
Yeah.
it's it's really really good, and they build upon what they laid down in this movie.
Okay.
Um, excuse me, it's surprisingly, while I say it's not a deep movie in terms of like plotting,
Hmm.
in terms of emotional deepness, I think it's pretty deep for an action flick. I think they do. They That's what happens when you cast two like world class actors in an action movie.
Hmm.
Like there's like you couldn't do this movie with Keanu. You
No, not
know,
really.
like, you couldn't cast Keanu as Riggs and be like, hey, go play that character because you have to feel the sorrow and like instability of him, and
Yeah.
like I can't imagine like what action person could do that role. You know,
Yeah, I don't think an action person could really do that role.
because you could get Denzel if you just try to stick with like older black guy. I mean, obviously at the time Denzel was not older, but like if you were remaking the
Yeah.
movie now and you want to stick with an older black guy to be the family man, stability guy, you could do Denzel.
Hmm.
I don't think Denzel could do the Riggs character, but
Yeah.
like Mel Gibson's in a league of his own in terms like he's that weird crossbreed of a guy who does super duper like dramatic movies
Hmm.
and then is also Mad Max.
Yeah.
Like that's not common,
Hmm.
Like even like Harrison Ford, like he does like he doesn't do action movies like that. He did a couple in the '90s, Air
Yeah.
Force One, shit like that. You know what I mean? But like you couldn't get Nick Cage to do that.
No.
But you needed that ability. You needed that acting ability. Like right after dinner, where they're walking Riggs out of the house, and he's talking about Murtaugh's family, and he's like, "You have a great thing going on here. You have a great family." And Murtaugh's like, "Calm down." He's like, "Oh, thank you." He
Yeah.
finishes the course, throws it in the trash can. He closes it.
Yeah.
Perfect. So even then, they're in timing and visually timing their partnerships in sync. Even then,
Hmm.
um, and then it's a sweet moment, and then right away Riggs like opens up again by being like, like I have a special bullet
Yeah.
or whatever. That's the scene when he says that whole monologue, right? About he has that bullet or whatever, or no?
No, because that happens after um that happens after he confronts him after the jumping, where he's like, yeah,
Okay,
because that's when he talks about it. He's like, yeah, I even have a special hollow point bullet to make
right?
sure that the
What
job
he
gets
says
done.
something of the same effect about after dinner though.
The only thing I remember after dinner, once they're done with the boat, is that he definitely talks about how the fact that he hates his wife's cooking.
Right? Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, but they show it's like the emotional stuff is so.
Hmm.
Again, it goes back to the character stuff. The characters have to be fully fleshed.
Yeah, I mean, I think specifically, yeah, for this movie in general to work the way that it does, you need people that are actually able to like, yeah, like emote and like show exactly what's going on, like behind the characters' like eyes and facades and all that kind of stuff. Because yeah, I think if you just had like generic like action guy in there, like if you try to do like Sylvester and somebody else, like it just would.
Yeah, yeah. no. I
Wouldn't
tried.
watch.
I was watching Rocky yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and like the first Rocky, and we obviously love Rocky. But
Yeah.
I'm watching, I'm like, this dude just can't go that deep.
No.
He can't go deep like that. And honestly, he could in Creed,
Mm-hmm.
he got close.
Creed gets pretty close. Creed's
He gets
about as
close in
closest
Creed.
as he possibly gets.
Like when he sees his son at the end of Creed 2.
Yeah.
That's at Creed 2 or Creed 1.
Creed 2 is when he sees his son, I'm pretty
Okay, so
sure.
in Creed 2, when he sees his son, it's there.
Yeah.
But if we're going back to like Sly in the 80s, like no, he's doing Cobra, and we saw
Yeah.
Cobra.
Yeah.
I know this.
We did. We watched Cobra. Cobra's not that good.
You know what's funny? Older people I follow on Instagram, people who like whatever, they fucking love that movie.
Cobra?
Yeah.
I don't know what they
It absolutely must be a three.
Well, it's one.
Thing.
I think. I mean, for me, the only way I knew about that movie, and I think we talked about when we did it, was like I just saw the poster because the poster is iconic as fuck.
Poster's
like,
great.
Sylvester with the all black, and he's got the fucking gun with like the laser sight pointed up, and like the poster's sick.
Yeah.
And like I've seen that poster in like other movies, and that's how I'd gotten it because it's like it's in a bunch of other movies. Like I think it's in like a Mark Wahlberg movie. It's like the comedy movie he did with Will Ferrell.
The other guy.
He's like a cop in that, and like you go to his apartment, and like he has a fucking Cobra poster up. And watching Cobra, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like he thinks he's fucking Cobra as a cop.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, if Cobra was all of the first scene, I'd be
that first scene's fantastic.
I've been all about it, but
Yeah.
it's not. It's not about that,
No.
you know. It's cool in theory though. I like a lot of the movie, like in terms of like visually. I think his apartment's cool.
Yeah.
His car is sweet. But that final fight has a cool fight sequence. The moment when he kills the guy at the end,
The
remember?
factory fight, yeah.
Yeah, where he like chokes the guy out with the chain.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. But a lot of it in the middle, a lot of missteps.
Yeah.
A lot of missteps.
I mean, the problem with that movie is that first scene in the grocery store is such a high.
Yeah.
It's hard to like match that until you get to the end.
I feel like a lot of people just. I could be completely wrong here because I'm not an '80s kid, obviously. But I wonder if a lot of those people who love this movie just think about that particular.
The grocery. I mean,
Yeah,
I
think
would
about
if
that
I
particular
was
scene.
like, yeah, I put that movie up because like, yeah, I mean, the grocery store scene is great, but
I mean,
everything
honestly,
else around
it's
that or after that is like, it's not terrible, but it's not fantastic.
yeah. I mean, it's probably just like how we feel about shit movies from our childhoods. Like they were kids probably when they saw it, or if they're younger, and just the concept was so cool that you thought like a rogue badass cop does whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
I get it in theory. But Lethal Weapon, kind of like Cobra, honestly, a little bit. Other movies they show, they don't really dive into other police around that work with them, but they definitely bring them in more.
Okay.
Not majorly, but they're in the background.
Yeah, I mean, they're still kind of in the background of this one. I mean, the house explosion scene, like you've got the other cop that kind of shows up and introduces them, or at least like rounded up the kids, and you've got the one cop that shows up before he's introduced to Riggs, who's like breaking down exactly what happened with the daughter and like why it's not a suicide and all that kind of stuff. So like, they're like, yeah, they're definitely like on the outlines, on the outskirts of the movie, but they're definitely like not as big of a deal.
Yeah, and in number 2, you see them a little bit more. Again, they're not really huge, but they're definitely there.
Okay.
The downside to the rest of the series is that they really kind of like Joe Pesci's in him. And he's great, but they really kind of lean on him to be the comedic element because Shane Black, which you actually, if you remember from the documentary that I told you to watch, the action documentary, Shane Black says like I wrote a script for Lethal Weapon 2 and it got Riggs dies in it and it gets like super duper dark.
Yeah.
And the studio said, nah, make too much money, we're gonna lighten it up. They put Joe Pesci in it and they lightened it up, and it's fun. It's a great movie. The 2 and 3 are great movies. I think 4 is my least watched. 4 is my least watched of the series. Now it should be my number 1 watch because Jet Li's in it.
Oh shit, dude!
But it's not though. 1 to 3 all day every year I watch 1 to 3 multiple times a year.
Okay.
But 4 is always kind of like I have to like really be a completionist that year to watch 4.
Hmm.
Um, and Joe Pesci's in 2, 3. I'm pretty sure. I know he's in 2 for sure. I know that. I'm pretty sure he's in 2 and 3. But it adds another element to the movie that I think they could have tried without it.
Hmm.
At least my opinion, you know.
Okay.
So, but yeah, did you have anything else you want to add to Lethal Weapon?
No, no, I'm excited to just get into the rest of the series now because, yeah, I mean, Lethal Weapon 1 kicked it up with such a big bang. Like, I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, what do you give it? What's your score, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably give it like a 9 out of 10. Like, it's super,
Yeah.
super solid.
Have
Um,
you after seeing it now? Do you? I'm not sure how much Die Hard's in your brain on a given basis, but if you had to come down on the wire and pick one,
just first Die Hard and first Lethal
just
Weapon.
first Die Hard, first Lethal Weapon.
I don't know. I think Die Hard might be in my brain more because I feel like I lean more towards Die Hard just because that's the movie that I grew up with more
Mm-hmm.
than Lethal Weapon. But Lethal Weapon is so. I feel like if you ask me in a couple of years after I've probably rewatched Lethal Weapon a couple of times,
Yeah,
I might switch the answer. But for right now, it's still Die Hard.
because for me
That's the one that's still stuck in my brain.
they're coupled movies where it's like okay, I watch Lethal Weapon, I finish it, and I go, well, I might as well. And then I watch Die Hard.
Yeah,
Or if I watch Die Hard first, I'd be like, well,
I got to now.
got to now. And then I watch Lethal Weapon. But yeah, for me, it's a 10 out of 10 movie, 5 out of 5. It's a perfect movie.
Hmm.
Um, and again, the downside to the movie for people, I think, is that they really do. The back half is people forget about, I think. The first half of them first meeting is so iconic that
Hmm.
the end bit with the desert scene, all that kind of stuff, I
Hmm.
think is frequently forgot about. Just from people I talk to about the movie.
Hmm.
But yeah, I love the movie. I love the franchise. I'm excited to get to 2, to 3, and then 4. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, we'll
We'll
see.
see. But if we're comparing the series though, like
Mhm.
franchises, I definitely think that Lethal Weapon is a more concise franchise than Die Hard.
I think Die Hard's got a lot more stinkers in it.
Yeah, because Die Hard again, just like Lethal Weapon, Die Hard 1, 2, and 3, fine, right? Because if I was gonna rank Die Hard, it's 1, 3, 2 for the first
Yeah.
three, and for Lethal Weapon, I go 1, 2, 3. I think,
Mm.
and I haven't seen. There's 5 Die Hards or 4.
There's like six.
I've only seen the first 3.
Because there's
Live
there's the
Free, Die
Die
Hard.
Hard after three. There's the Die Hard with Justin Long, and maybe there's just five. Because then there's Die Hard in Russia.
Okay.
I think that's the fifth one.
Yeah, I've only seen the first 3.
Yeah, because the fourth one is Hackers, I think, and then the fifth one is Russia, and that's the one with
Okay.
Jai Cordy in it, and that one's super fucking bad.
Yeah, any point where John McClane's bald, I just haven't seen it. I've only
Yeah.
seen him with hair.
Yeah.
So, um, well, hey man, good, good talking to you about Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, man.
We'll
I'm
come back.
excited. I'm excited to get into the rest of it, man.
Yeah, dude. Especially 2 is great. 2 is really good. And then that fucking toilet scene is fantastic.
Really the only scene I know from Die Hard, honestly, is the toilet scene.
It's a really funny. When you watch that, whenever you watch it this week, there's really good humor in that. Like good, really, really funny like jokes in that, and then followed by really, really like emotional. It's not like they don't like play it as an emotional moment, but they play it as an emotional moment between the characters. Like they don't like slow down the music and like make it all like dramatic. But
Yeah.
like in the moment, it's like a good like buddy cop bro moment. But
Okay.
hey guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'll see you back next week with more Check the Vending Machines.